Some people can't work.
Isn't that $4 a week? A day?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Somebody got their hand up, mods downstairs.
I've been trying to bring them up. I can't bring them up. I've been trying to down there.
Kamala Harris is an agent of the Skull and Bonesman from Yale University. She is a subversive Trojan horse.
That's weird, I didn't have.
Yeah, so, Daniel, and we'll try to about spending the money, right?
Jesus.
I was just wondering if there's advice you can give in, like, how to, like, overcome, like, narratives, especially false narratives, how to overcome those, maybe it's a two people.
Yeah, let me say a couple things here. I'm just curious what you guys think. So, number one, is I think we're kind of commanded to use all of our mind and to be able to give a defense and to demolish arguments and, accept.
That is so sad.
Motherfucking nigga style!
Not her, no. It's way before.
We in the liquor store. I ain't got no money for no Hennessy, so I'm gonna get me some Miller High Life and some orange juice.
You sit down there.
Charlie Murphy.
Motherfucker Charlie Murphy.
Johnny Murphy.
Motherfucker Charlie Murphy.
And another case, that's a case really.
Oh, man. I've been called Dave Chappelle. I've been called everything in this world. Oh. And Charlotte was way funnier than Eddie.
Yeah, Charlie Murphy was definitely funny, but I can't say he was funnier than Eddie in his heyday. Like he's only 8, 10, Eddie.
You didn't have the look. You didn't have the look.
And sometimes it's good to know who you're dealing with. I mean, I'd rather have a person speak their vulgarity or their lie, and you know who they are, rather than hide under a rock and do it under the surface. Any person from their bedroom can reach around the world now with their views. It used to be they just were local and affected their community, but the internet gives them a lot of power. But I'm old. I remember when neo-Nazis were allowed to march in a city and everyone was upset about it. But they were allowed to march, and the fact is the community rose up and there was more support for the Jews after they marched. So hopefully the pendulum swings and there's a balance.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I think the more people that are aware of, you're right, the truth is the main factor. So yeah, that's.
I don't want to talk about just platitudes. I mean, obviously worldwide, the word anti-Semitism, Jewish hate has grown. People see the Middle East and take sides. They see people die, and it's heart-wrenching. And so many people in our country don't always study history, but they react to what's happening now. So also educating people in history helps. And, it's kind of in our lot that we have this persecution rising and falling that follows us this biblical time.
Yeah, one thing I went to Central India originally, and like the recent things that have happened lately, things are really suffering, and it's many people are not aware of that. The issues times when I bring it up, that you guys always are fighting, it's always the two sides of this. They don't see
I apologize for our lack. Not only do we lack knowledge of history, but also many times the rest of the world. We're very insular here. And you can ask people what's going on in Africa, what's going on. Aside from what they might see in the headlines, we are knowledgeable about specific areas, and we need more of that information. It's not even in our press.
The stuff in India is in our press, David, especially for you and I on the West Coast. You might have just missed it, but yeah, there's quite a lot going on in India right now.
Yeah, we were really trying to push the lawmakers and representatives to take note of what's going on and help us. But it's that's definitely there. Then there's always there's well, not always, but sometimes there's this other side where they're trying to peddle a narrative, like I don't know. So anyway, I don't want to get into it right now.
Right. It's very hard to find a neutral article, right? There's one side being advocated, and maybe that's one reason you have to have multiple sources, even going to sources of people that you don't agree with, just to understand and hear a different thought.
News to go on the graveyard shift. I didn't say everybody.
Won't. Fine.
I said
Whatever.
most people.
But that's not the reality. The reality is most people don't have choice.
The reality, sir, is that most people do have the choice.
Well, then
You didn't have the choice. And actually, sir, I'm going to commend you. In fact, I'll give you a fucking standing ovation, and I'll tell you why.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No. Let me tell you why, sir. And then I'm going to close this room down in 15 minutes because I'm starting to blow it. Sir, I strongly suspect, sir, that you did have a choice. You could have gone on welfare. You could have applied for it, but you chose not to. Instead, sir, you chose to work your ass off because you didn't want to go.
Which we haven't heard, might I add, right? And I do think you should just play a snippet so that all of us can know that you actually have recordings.
Okay, you know what, miss? I don't have a recording.
Ah! You liar!
Yes, I am habitual.
Stone him!
Stone him!
Okay, so somebody just coming back to you with info.
Yes, I don't have a recording.
Yes.
I
I don't believe shit you said! Cause I don't know if you lying now or you lying then. I don't know if you lying now or you lying.
Why do you think make clips on crap? Let's talk about that. What happened there?
Who cares? Like trying to nosy. What's that about? What happened with that?
What's that about?
Man, this shit is lame. Vote Trump and go to the gym, fatties. That's right, vote Trump and go to the gym.
Damn. Groundbreaking. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. Hold on. I'm texting Kitover and he's gonna piss me off.
Kiddo.
Hey, I'm already going through this. He wasn't saying nothing bad though, but I feel what you said. Like, that's your shit though. That's her wrong.
Yeah, but those are big ones, and I just love Samosa, man. I'm trying to lay off the stars, but sometimes I crave it and I just go for it. There's the other big fan that I can't do with Rocky. I don't know if you know that.
Do you like a gulab jamun for dessert?
No, I'm telling you, the recipe is really good, man. You gotta make it a whole meat. I mean, it's got a lot of fiber, complex carbs, really good for your body. So, I don't think alchemists actually knows about all these things, like herbs, ashwagandha, trifla. These are like only Indian yogis actually know all these really good stuff. So, even mushrooms. Yes, yes, Adrian Guru.
Alchemist, do you do yoga? Have you tried yoga? Because when you do yoga and you do deep breathing and you're stretching, there's a moment where you stop thinking and you're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I used to do, like, I went through a phase where, can you guys hear me? Yeah, I went through a phase where I did it. Yeah, I like it. It's just like, I don't have time right now in my life, but like later on I feel like I go back to it.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't stretch your hamstrings?
No, I stretch. No, I do stretch. I just don't do yoga or qigong anymore.
Oh, I see.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? Alchemist, you're both right.
No, I'm not. I just like it. It makes me feel good.
So what religion are you? Muslim?
No, I'm not religious. But yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the whole ego thing, like the whole ego death thing, is like, I don't know, man.
It's bullshit.
It's not bullshit. It's just like,
No, ego is bullshit. Ego death is bullshit. It's more about it's hypnosis or basically alpha brainwave or like movie theater state.
yeah. I mean, I think having like an ego is not a bad thing. Like, it's not a bad thing to have an ego.
It doesn't
Like, as long as
exist
you're-
though.
No, it definitely does exist.
It's a word. It doesn't exist in the real world. It's a concept.
No, like your ego is your sense of self. So
No, that's personality or identity. Ego is just as tenuous or tentative as even personality or identity. People change minute to minute, hour to hour, day to day. I mean, at the end of this conversation, you won't be the same person as you were when you started it.
okay, fair enough. So I guess I guess I'll give you an example. Like, I know people in real life that's like, you know, their whole thing is like, yeah, man, like, you know, ego death. Like, I went through ego death on this drug and stuff, and it's like, it's almost like their ego. It's like their ego is like, I don't have an ego. Like, oh yeah, like I went through ego death and stuff. It's like, well, that's your, like, you know, like your ego is big, man. Like, you gotta suppress your ego a little bit. It's like, that's your talking. Like, like basically what you're saying is your identity is like, yeah, man, like, I used to be like you, but then like.
No, that's not what ego death is.
Well, no, that's what
No,
people
ego
like.
death.
Like, they act like it's like an accomplishment for your ego.
I get it,
It's
but
like,
philosophically, you have to have a definition. I can say it very easily by saying that you are technically God in drag. That's the outcome of an ego death.
Okay. Well, all I'm saying is that there's people walking around that do drugs, and they're like, yeah, man, ego death and stuff, and it's like.
Yeah, there's retards out there.
Ego too. It's just, yeah, your ego is just that you have no ego. Like, that's your whole, like, thing. Like,
No, that would be my shtick or my hypnosis script, but that's not a very good script, man.
I know it isn't, but I'm just saying, like, that's how people kind of treat it. Like, they're like, they act like, I don't know what I hopefully people will understand what I'm trying to say, or I'm just talking like I'm crazy.
Well,
Like,
what I'm trying to say is in Zen Buddhism or Alan Watts, R.H. Bly, D.T. Suzuki, all these, the Japanese extenuation of Buddhism and Hinduism is essentially just be here now. So when you go to the gym and you don't have your cell phone and you're not on this fucking hypnosis app and you're totally by yourself, I'm just saying that it's a miracle you're alive. So there are moments, what I'm trying to say is like what John Adams said after they won the revolution, you know, joyous forevermore. Like you should live your life in rapture. That's really how you should live your life. Like
I mean, that's essentially why it can be hard to control your desires or your consumption habits, is because people do live so rapturously, because this whole thing is one incredible, sonata.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just have a. I mean, for me, it's like have a sense of self. Have pride. Do things. Do things that better you and your bloodline, and enjoy it, but don't enjoy it too much to where it becomes everything. And
Yeah, but what is a bloodline?
What is a bloodline? Well, a bloodline is the extension of you.
I know, but how do you compare that to the blood of Christ?
What do you mean?
Meaning that the metaphor of drinking wine on a Friday is consuming the literal blood of Christ, meaning that you should have the uh, the catharsis or the rectification of Christ cosmically. Because if Christ saved humanity, he fixed an error in the simulation.
Well, I don't subscribe to that, but I mean.
Well, I'm using Christ as.
That sounds like a pretty good excuse to drink wine.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, it's Legend of Drunken Master. Did you see the Jackie Chan movie?
It sounds like a pretty good excuse to drink wine. That's what it sounds like to me. It doesn't sound
Yeah,
like.
but bread and wine are very basic symbols, and that's why Christianity spread very quickly. Is because when you go to a country or a city that has no bread or wine, and you bring that and you profess it in the name of Christ, and you give people a sacrament every Sunday, they are now hypnotized and under your consumption control.
I'm not sure what that has to do with anything, but cool. But I mean, the bloodline. That's essentially when you have kids, you're cloning yourself. Basically, you're cloning yourself with another woman, and that's the extension of you once you die.
Are you a clone of your father?
Are you a clone of your father? Yeah, I am.
Really?
You're a clone of your father. Yeah, you're a clone of your father too.
I know.
Yeah. So. Yeah. That's it.
I know. I do recognize how much I am like my father. I mean, it's incredible. But see, that's like personality transmission.
I mean, that doesn't mean everybody has to see it that way, but that's just how I see it.
No, I think a lot of men are probably not like their fathers, because they were abused by their fathers or abandoned by their fathers.
Well, there are good things and there are bad things about people, and one of them may be that they get abused by their father. That doesn't mean that there isn't. And even if that's true, then you should be like me. If that didn't happen to me, but if it did, I'd be like, I want to reverse that.
Yeah, but you didn't learn anger management.
Anger management.
Meaning that if you are a victim of horrific abuse, and you haven't done a rectification or some type of what you could call a salve coagula or an alchemical formula to right your consciousness, you're going to abuse your children because you haven't regurgitated that wickedness out of your system.
Okay. Hey, listen, if that's the work you got to do what you got to do to make it better. Yeah. If that's what you got to do it.
Yeah, but it's easier said than done.
True.
Children aren't clones because each individual sperm has different DNA.
I think he's generally speaking.
Yeah, I mean, you are a product of your father and mother. The sperm and the egg come together and then they form you. So you're essentially a clone of your father and your mother, for all intents and purposes.
But when he's... But Papa, aren't you saying that each genetic codex is like a snowflake, and so therefore it's not technically a clone?
Well, okay, so are you trying to argue with me that you don't get the genetic, you you don't get the DNA of your
No,
father.
the recombination is.
Your father and mother, and probably the tendencies and the mental capacities of your father. Like, yeah, you do.
I know, but that's not a pure clone. That's not a 1-to-1 clone.
And you're
Okay.
talking about not even environmental influences.
No. Well, yeah, sure. I mean, okay, fine. But like, also genetically and biologically, you are a clone of your parents. They literally, like, you literally came out of your father's ball sack, and then you were formed in your mother's womb. So.
Thank you for describing to us.
Yeah, you're a clone of them.
That's not a 1-to-1 clone.
Okay. Well, you're just arguing to argue. You understand my point?
Somewhat, but I don't think you really can admit that it's not a 1-to-1 clone.
Alchemists, do you believe in soul? Do you believe in soul? Or you don't?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Does the sperm have soul, or?
Does the sperm have soul? That's a good question. I'm not smart enough to answer that question.
They say that the soul enters on the first breath, but I think that's metaphor too, meaning that in Latin, at
I'm not smart
conception,
enough to answer that question. I have no idea.
the word for breath in Hebrew is ruach, in Latin it's spiritus, and in Greek it's something else, but that's technically, the metaphor for the soul, meaning that the breath of life, or that, it really, even the logos, if you look at the Bible, it says that the word, the logos became flesh. So, but that's, in my opinion, like the word alchemist or alchemy deals with what's called Hermetic mysticism, or, it's basically magic, is what it is basically like ancient magic. And they call it physics science. I heard a new term for it recently. It's called physical sciences, meaning that your body, your brain, your hands, everything is a microcosm of the universe. So I guess what I'm saying is there's a way to hack the simulation through words. And I mean, if you want to be successful in business,
There's scientific factors that say life doesn't actually begin, but that life is passed on, so it's never really a beginning. So they claim, that the egg is alive, and the sperm is alive, the zygote's alive. So there's never really a start, but a continuation of life.
yeah, but that, you could say that all communication is hypnosis. So it's like saying, oh, I have an ego. Okay, well, show it to me. Well, I can't show it to you because it's a concept. And it's like saying water doesn't get you wet. But you definitely have a beginning and an end, because you're here right now, and that implies that you were not here prior to your existence, meaning that you were once dead.
You replace life with you, so me personally, from my perspective, I have a beginning and an end, but the life that I am was passed on to me, just like what alchemists are saying.
Well, that would imply infinity, eternity, or immortality. And that's technically, in my opinion, what the good news of the gospel is.
Are you like Eastern Orthodox or something?
I mean, I'm not in the Eastern Orthodox Church, but I understand why you would ask that, meaning that I think a lot of Greek Orthodox people practice what's called gnosis, or Gnosticism, and that's basically unity with God.
Interesting. I would be referred to as a traditional Catholic. And I observe the condition of sede vacante.
I couldn't understand what was that?
Sede vacante is Latin. The chair of St. Peter is vacant. Ever since the Second Vatican Council, the Church has taught in contradiction with itself, its previous self, and separated itself. So when I say I'm Catholic, but I observe sede vacante, it means that guy that calls himself the Pope isn't and that the Second Vatican Council introduced a contradiction in Catholic theology that can only be explained that the church has departed from its theology.
So what is it? Is it technically like a Byzantine empire?
No, no. I mean, Christ, you seem religious. Christ guaranteed that the church wouldn't fail, so I don't know if you know who Archbishop Cook is. But yeah, there's a whole history, but the lines are still preserved. They're just underground now. They're not in those buildings that are claiming to be Catholic. They're in other locations.
I don't know. I just view the Catholic Church as technically being like a Merovingian empire, a Byzantine empire, or the remnants of Roman aristocracy, or something to that extent, where you merge the religion with the politics, and you become a super state, and it has persisted for 2,000 years, or 1,800 years. I mean,
Apostolic progression, right? The claim within this theology that calls itself Catholic to Christ is apostolic progression, right? Each priest has had hands laid on him that can be drawn back to an apostle. So that's what makes up this theology, and that line has been broken in mainstream but remained intact. There was two people historically in the entire history of the church. Two people had the right to consecrate and ordain without papal mandate, right? To make bishops and priests without having to ask permission. One of them, the only one that was living at the time, Archbishop Cook, was in Vietnam. So, he had to be like underground and all right. He'd get killed if he was making priests on the surface. So he had the unique ability to consecrate and ordain, so make priests and then consecrate bishops, right? This consecration. So the lines and apostolic progression remains intact. There's one he had permission, right? So what he does is valid and illicit. Whereas like Archbishop Lefebvre, he said, "Oh my God, you're changing the Catholic Church. I better make some bishops real quick." Well, he didn't have the ability to make bishops without papal mandate. So his are valid, but they're illicit. So there's two lines that stem. It's Archbishop Cook's lines, which are valid and illicit, and Archbishop Lefebvre's lines, which are valid but illicit because he didn't have the papal mandate. Anyways, that's just that.
so do you view the American Revolution as being a religious war for religious freedom against King Charles and the Anglican Church or the English Church, meaning that the King and the Pope in England are one?
No. There would be a good book to refer you to called Americanism by Sholon Hertz. Talks about more of the political and the economic influences. Like, say, for example, the Boston Tea Party, right?
The Lost Earth. Now that sound. I said that. The Lost Earth. Now that doesn't sound like it.
She's a funny writer. I mean, she's very accomplished. Yeah, Sholon Hertz. I was reviewing her book, doing the. She had one where she talked about the Green Dragon Cabinet, right? The Sons of Liberty, the ones that were the underground of the American Revolution. The Sons of Liberty met at a place called the Green Dragon Cabinet, and the premise was that it was a close connection with this group, the Sons of Liberty, and there was a plaque on the Green Dragon Cavern. So I was in Boston, and I went there, and there was like a, when you like a picture from the wall, it's like a fresh paint kind of picture, but the wall's kind of faded. So that was on the door. So I went in there, I said, "Hey, I'm looking for the plaque that's on the door." And it's like, "Oh, that just got stolen last week, right?" So, but she goes, "But I got a photo album." So I sat there, and priest in her photo album. Sure enough, it was a snake in a figure 8 meaning down, called symbolism and such. But yeah, she mentions that. She mentions the Benjamin Franklin tied to alchemy, the flying the kite, trying to turn lead into gold, the key and all that crap. Yeah, so, I mean, basically, orchestrated or from that Freemasonic ties, it's pretty obvious when you go to Washington, D.C. I mean, just look at the cornerstone of any building, the official building. I mean, the Freemasons logo thing there, the compass and book is everywhere. It's like every cornerstone. So, you know, and there's an overlay too. I was doing research for another book. The pinnacles like the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, right? The Capitol building and such like that. They're laid out in Masonic fashion. It was kind of interesting because one arm of the compass would go all the way to Georgetown University, right? If you're standing at the Lincoln Memorial and you're looking towards the Washington one, the big pillar, the one arm of the compass going to the right was to Georgetown. The other arm of the compass was really interesting because it would go across the Potomac and it would like miss the Pentagon by a little ways. And so the Pentagon and the Iwo Jima Memorial was right there too. And missed that one too. And went off of this view. I was like, that's kind of weird, you know, if you didn't move distance to Georgetown to that, like the compass would be. So I was driving that road, and it goes by the Pentagon, so you can't stop, you can't get out of your car, there's fences on both sides here. But I was driving, and I pulled over, and I opened up the truck, and I was back in the truck, you know, the covers were looking around, and I see this steam coming out of the bush, right? That's kind of weird. Right, so I'm looking at it, it's like this little concrete mushroom, and there's being dissipated right in the cold air above it. And then I'm keeping on it, right? I can see these things everywhere. So it's like, and then after 9/11, it was interesting, there was a story on TV when they were in the underground area, the abandoned underground, the Pentagon got hit. We could just move all our shit down here because we got all the space. Oh my God. That's the underneath the area that I was inside was, yeah, the Masons. That made me good in the American Revolution for sure. I mean, look at Albert Piper, right? The Scottish, right? He wrote the book Walls and Dogmas. He was down there in the 33rd degree latitude. He was also 33rd degree, so whatever. Yeah, his book Walls and Dogmas just perused to the 30th degree, right? The Knights Cadosh. And it's pretty clear.
You know, once the Freemasons gave me a parking ticket, so I parked in front of the Freemasons lodge. And, you know, I'm going to a coffee shop. I come out, there's a fucking parking ticket. But I didn't have to pay anything, it was a warning. It was like, hey, you shouldn't be parking here. Think better next time. So they said something like that. Fuck the Freemasons, not because they control anything. But they're simplers, they're like, you know, hustlers for their parking.
Yeah, you know, in canon law, there's only one that's specifically identified. I think it's like 28 something, 28 or something like that. And it's the Masons. And the Masons are living. Yeah, so and ipso facto. So ipso facto is by your facto. Ipso facto, you're excommunicated from the church. So if you join the canon law states, and like I said, it's the only group. If you join the Masons, you immediately remove yourself. The law doesn't have to be applied. Canon law applies itself. Right? So they say ipso facto means just like your fact that you did something means you receive this punishment by the law. I got a webpage with photos. I was doing this guy hired me to, I was dating my at the time, to collect images of the Second Vatican Council and popes and such like that. At the time I didn't know, shit about fuck. So I was looking at all these pictures and I'm looking at these pictures, I'm thinking, these guys, man, they don't know how to second after he did that, I was like, what's wrong with you? Why did you shake my hand at work? And my dad kind of got pissed off that we never did that. Yeah, I don't appreciate work handshakers. We're chilling. We're shaking hands. Fucking, like, collapse my hand near your muscles. He has an old school thing, probably. Anyways, I gotta get. I'm driving to Vegas tomorrow morning early. Viva Las Vegas, right? Y'all enjoy your evening. Have a fun time. What do you mean? What's like? Dude, it's because you thought I'm the other fucking my guy. Okay, but I'm jealous. How's the other day being, wish you were straight, wish you were white. Type of guy.
It's too hard to be a straight guy. I don't know.
Hampton, how do you go around this app and constantly say you want to be a woman? I mean, what's wrong with you?
Because being a woman is superior to being a man.
Do you know how stupid that is?
Nowadays.
This is why I support hormone replacement therapy for non-adults, so children. It's because hormone replacement therapy just wouldn't work that well on Hanson right now. But, Hanson should have done it at the age of
Are
like
you
12.
talking about Hampton? My name's not Hanson.
Or Hampton, sorry. What did I do?
You said Hanson. You called me Hanson.
Oh, shit. But yeah, Hampton. I do think Hampton, and I support gender liberation at all ages. And I do think, it would have been nice if Hanson could have Hampton.
Again.
Shit, dude, my bad. I'm drunk right now. If Hampton could have expressed his gender at a younger age. Because when you become older, you run into a lot of problems.
The thing is, I don't have gender dysphoria, and I don't want to be a trans person. I'm just saying, if I had to go back in time and control if I was a man or a woman, I would be like, he would be a girl. I feel like I would be an alpha woman. It's so much easier being a woman than being a man. I don't like women just get rewarded for being who they are.
See, Hampton, this is your neuroticism. This is your programming. I mean, you're programmed on these lies. This is not who you are. You're a man. You're not a woman. You're a man.
Respected for being a woman just by being born. You see what I mean, Cardano?
No, bro. That's your fucked up perspective.
Wait, Adrian, I definitely get what you mean. And I have a lot of trans friends. I know a lot of trans people. Yeah, they do say, once they fully transition, they do feel that somewhat they're treated better than their birth gender, right? And so, I know this one chick, Casey, she looks fully, you cannot tell that her birth gender was male. And she said since she's transitioned, everyone has just treated her so much better. She actually said that to me, right?
Yeah.
And it's because, she's fully passing. If you saw her in a cafe or a bar, you would not be able to tell that she had, male, she was a male
a real
designated.
woman. And I think even the most, maybe men are so delusional they don't want to admit it, but people are nicer to
Maybe gay men are fully delusional. Did you ever think about that?
That is
Dude, women are used in testimonials.
Let me explain
Am I
to you.
crazy? Am I crazy?
Yeah, let me explain to you what you
I'm
are.
crazy.
You
So
are
people aren't
Yeah.
nicer to women on average than they are to men. I'm making that up.
what you are is you're a lazy man with low testosterone who doesn't want to make anything of himself. So you're just trying to take the easy way out by chopping your cock off.
You're going I'm not. I don't want to be. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna.
That's literally. I'm just telling you, like I just listened to you for like 5 minutes and I broke you down. That's what it is.
I'm not gonna change myself. I'm a man. I'm a gay man. It is what it is. I'm just saying, if I had a choice.
Yeah, but why do you come on this app and repeat this same fucking nonsense over and over again, day after fucking day? It's insane.
Cardano asked me about a date.
Okay, so, jealousy, or are you a top or a bottom?
I'm a top. But the thing is, everybody says that.
You simply just don't want to do the work to be a fucking man that a woman wants to be with, so you feel rejected. And so
I don't want to be. I'm not sexually attracted to women. I'm not sexually attracted to women. It's an observation that I just observed in my life. I don't know why that people get mad. Women get mad at me saying this, and men. Like, what is it?
Well,
It's because it's repulsive. It's low IQ. It's Schwartz. Because retards and stupid people talk like you.
Let me just say one thing. It's me and jealousy met. No homo here. If me and jealousy met, you would definitely be the bottom.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm out of here, guys. I gotta go lay down and work off this cookie skillet that I just ate. Oh, hey, the cookie skillet was huge. I ate too much. Toodles. Bye, girlfriend.
Bye, bitch. Anyway, so. But anyway, it's an observation. You don't have to get mad.
Sweet, I'm a little confused. If you are a top, does that mean you put a dick in your booty hole and then you ride a dick in your booty hole when you're on the top? Is that what a top really is? I'm a little confused.
It doesn't bother me. You're just saying a lot of stupid crap that I think is funny, and I'm just gonna let you know because I don't think a lot of people have the balls to let you know this.
What is wrong that I
So you're not trapped. You're not trapped with a woman in a man's body.
I'm sorry to say this, Alchemist. No, gender liberation can happen at any age. I know people who have been
You're sexually retarded, is what you are. Sorry, but that's the truth. You're sexually retarded.
Gender liberation at 1 year old, 2 years old, 3. Are you mental, bro?
It's just the observation. Everything's easier as a woman. You don't have the pressure. You can perform. You don't have to perform.
Dude, you're saying that because you're not a fucking woman, you idiot.
More. I mean, you have to deal with periods, but literally, I was talking to my girl, my friends that are girls, just get on fucking.
This guy might be trolling. I'm not sure.
He's not. He's retarded.
I'm letting you know, if you get on birth control or put it the patch in, you can control your periods.
Yeah, no shit. That's called birth control.
You might be sexually retarded, but you're not trapped anywhere. The universe created you as a man. The man has a penis. The point of a penis is to be produced with a female vagina.
I'm not gay anymore.
Hampton, you live in LA, right?
Correct.
So
I live in LA also. I'll dox you.
yeah, so hey, you guys should hang out and stuff. That's cool, but I'm just letting you know, jealousy, that you can do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. Go have sex with Sonny. I don't give a fuck. But I'm just
What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
There's nothing wrong with me. I'm just telling you that I'm not telling.
Yeah, I mean, after you guys bust a load in each other's faces, do you think you're gonna be in love or something? Is that what gay men do after they ejaculate? Do they fall in love and be like, "I love you, darling. You're the dreams of my life. You complete me." Is that how it works?
Dude, I don't give a shit if you're gay, bro. I really don't care. I have friends who are gay. It's cool, but they're also not they're not saying stupid shit like this. I don't think
You hear this, Hampton? You got shit thrown right in your face tonight.
I know I'm a man. I have a penis. I'm not a woman. I'm a gay man.
Yeah, you're walking around on Clubhouse trying to get attention that you're gay.
Exactly.
Nobody gives a fuck that you're gay.
Not only that, but gay is a concept. It's like ego. It doesn't exist in the real world.
Exactly. That's their ego. I'm gay. I'm trapped in a woman's body. Look at
Yeah,
me.
I guess if you want to say what an ego is, it's technically just being gay.
That you already thought in the first place.
Jealousy, do you believe in the concept of the ego? Yes or
Dude,
no?
I'm not trying to bully you, man. I have no problem with you being gay.
Didn't say you did.
Yeah, but
Say you did. Say you did. Say you did.
I'm not trying to victimize myself. You're bringing it up.
Let me get to the bottom of this.
Say you did.
So I'll tell you if jealousy can be a hot trans chick or not. Jealousy, okay, you know, you haven't gone on HRT, so you're a little chubby right now. No offense. No offense.
This is too funny. This guy is like a trans obese person.
And if you've gotten to like, you know, a pretty good skinny level, I think you could become, you know, a pretty good trans.
Can you wear skinny jeans, Hampton?
I used to be really. I'll be honest. I'm gonna be so real with you. Just so I'm short. I'm like 5'6.5".
Dude, like 90.
That's like 5'4".
Short, right? Like 90% of trans chicks are like short.
Right.
It's something I've
90% of trans chicks are obese faggots.
Lowest, I was like 128, but I had really 128. Right now I'm 180. So
okay, now if Hampton got to 128 as a male, I think Hampton could be like.
But the thing is, you realize how hard that was? I did not eat what I wanted to eat, and it was.
Why don't you just work out and stop running your mouth and go to the gym and vote Trump, fatty?
I hate exercise. I don't like exercise.
Running your mouth doesn't burn as many calories as taking your ass on a treadmill.
So, you know, one thing I do support. Hampton, I made you a mod, but please don't mute Adrian.
I didn't do that. I didn't do him.
The only reason I didn't make Adrian a mod. Okay, you didn't mute him, but whoever did.
I didn't mute him.
The only reason I didn't make Adrian a mod is because, you know, I think he would boom the room.
He would.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I would just leave. I wouldn't boom your room. I didn't start this room.
You know, this is the thing, right? This is
I'm a
fundamentally
moderator.
why.
I don't want to be a moderator.
This is fundamentally why I support gender liberation at all ages.
What, at 3 months? 3 months?
Why do you call it liberation? It's liberating.
Yeah, it's retarded. It's like, dude, you're chopping your cock off, and you're like putting a hole there. Like, you're not. There's no like gender. Like all these vocabulary words that you Democrats try to use. Like what you're doing. Like let me explain what you're doing. You are chopping your penis off, and you are injecting synthetic hormones into your body that the universe did not put into you because that probably wasn't your purpose to do. But you're fighting against that and trying to play God. That's what you're doing. That's what's happening.
You're liberating yourself from nature. Yes, exactly, right?
That's not liberation. Like most of these people are miserable after they get surgery.
Nature has boundaries.
Dude, you're supposed to do it through a book, not by chopping your dick off.
Most people who get sex changes, like the suicide rates of these people are like insanely high. They're not. Like, it doesn't solve their problem. In fact, it probably makes their problem worse.
Yeah.
Like you're literally chopping your fucking penis off, dude.
Then you have
Like,
the government and doctors. There was a news article that just came out where the police.
How much common sense do I have to inject into your brain in order for you to understand that that's probably not a good thing?
Let me say this. As someone in sociology and in the communist movement, I know many trans.
You're so shit. Oh God.
And you know, I know 5 trans females in my personal life who have suicided. All
Jesus.
the reasons for their suicides.
You say it almost like you think it's funny though. What the fuck?
Dude, it doesn't matter. Dude, it doesn't matter. Like, dude, a woman who gets a sex change to a man.
All the reasons for their suicides were simply that they did not feel accepted by the society.
Bro, that is bullshit, man. That is such bullshit. They killed themselves because they were depressed and miserable.
No, they were They were miserable people. They were miserable before. Then they thought this sex change was going to be their saving grace and just solve all their fucking problems, and it didn't. And then they're like, oh wait, this didn't work, and then they're using that as an excuse.
You have to look at it in terms of depression, because I think everybody has a certain baseline of depression, and it's a question of how do you remove yourself from that depressive state. The big way to do it is through action. Go, do, be.
One big way not to do it is to chop your cock off.
Yeah, exactly. That's the opposite of what you want to do, and that's your problem.
It's probably not a good idea.
A lot of
Probably
trans
not a
people,
good idea.
they keep their penis. A lot of trans women, they
Listen, there is no such thing as trans people, and there's no such thing as gay.
Keep your penis. Even if you keep your penis, you're still injecting synthetic hormones into your body at a massively unhealthy rate.
Jealousy is correct. The majority of trans women do not have bottom surgery.
Well, there's no such thing as trans women, and there's no such thing as bottom surgery.
Even if they don't, it doesn't matter.
It's called genital mutilation. It's not a surgery.
Wait, the thing is this.
It is what it is.
This does show you how helpful the transition is.
Jealousy, can I just pay you $100 to go over there and suck this obese retard's dick?
So, the thing is this. When you transition, when you keep your penis stops working. And everyone knows that. But people still transition.
Maybe they've got diabetes and obesity.
Okay, then maybe they don't chop their penis off. But for all intents and purposes,
It means that they consider that their transition healthy. That they are willing to give up usage of, the penis.
You mean they don't have orgasm anymore?
Sexually retarded. No, they're just sexually retarded. They think that that's what's going to solve the problem. It's not. It doesn't solve that problem. That you're not miserable because you're a man. You're miserable. You're not miserable. You're not a miserable, depressed, sexually retarded person because you are a man and the universe made you a man. You are a miserable, depressed, sexually retarded person because you probably have really bad habits and you've been programmed. You've been programmed by people like Sonny to get you to believe that this stuff, all this stuff is social constructs when it's not. The universe made you a man. It has you with certain amounts of testosterone in your body and a certain amount of hormones in your body for a reason. That's how nature made you. And you're trying to, us humans, are trying to play God and reverse engineer this and turn it and think that you can, fight that, which is
I know, but
hilarious.
when you're a